Update: Am I the butthole for getting upset about my boyfriend's guys' nights? Link to my previous post. So about 2 weeks ago I posted here asking if I was the butthole for getting mad at my boyfriend for his guy nights. The post didn't get a lot of attention, but the attention it did get was controversial and there was a lot of differing opinions, so I figured I'd do an update as a lot has happened. So after I posted, I ended up contacting the girlfriends in the group to see what was up, and we started noticing some fishy stuff. Their boyfriends and the guys in the group would say the exact same things to them as they did to me. Stuff like, "We'd invite you, but then the other girls will want to come." We also figured out that there were other nights that all the guys were free but that wanted to do Saturdays for some reason. One of the girls, H, was suspicious for this and many other reasons, so she checked her boyfriend's phone. I don't condone what she did at all, by the way, but in this circumstance I excuse it. While looking, she found a group chat called Boys Night, which she had never heard of. She was super suspicious at this point and clicked it to be greeted by a bunch of very interesting messages from the boys in our group. Well, guess what? Turns out guys' night was really go to a pub and cheat on your girlfriend night. The message was in reference to one of the girls my boyfriend was sleeping with last week. In fact, all the other guys except one were cheating, while the other knew but kept quiet. Another lovely discovery from the chat was that he hasn't been using protection with the other women or with me, birth control, meaning not only has he been cheating, he has also been putting me at high risk of an STD, while also risking mine and my elderly grandfather's life because of COVID. Needless to say, we've broken up and I feel better for it, but right now I'm friendless, single and waiting on STD results, which doesn't feel fantastic. So yep. Definitely not the update I was hoping to do, but life clearly doesn't turn out the way you plan. Edit: Wow, I really was not expecting this response. Thank you for all the kind words. I'm at work at the moment and will try to respond as much as possible, but from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all. And also thank you for the award. I'm very overwhelmed by all the kindness. Edit 2. Thank you again for all the kindness. I just thought I'd add a few things. 1. COVID isn't bad where I am, Australian, but when we hang out we social distance with masks. You can't social distance during sex, which is where my fear of COVID comes from too. One of the girls dumped her boyfriend, who wasn't cheating but knew, and the other took him back, he was cheating. And finally 3. I'm STD free. I got a call an hour ago and am so completely relieved now I can start to move on. Web link. This sucks, but at least you know now and can be better off without him, and the rest of your so-called friends. Maybe you could try and make friends with the ex-girlfriends now? I will say though, as someone who had friends who turned out to be not so great, don't feel like the time spent with them before your boyfriend was wasted. Were you happy with them? Did you have fun? Don't think of it as wasted time then, just time with people who turned out not so great. I'm not saying to forgive them, forgive yourself. I'm just saying don't regret, or be angry with yourself for having a good time with people who turned out to not be not as nice as you thought. Enjoy your memories and don't let them taint them, or you'll live in regret. Edit. Thanks for the awards, kind strangers. This is something I tell myself when I'm struggling sometimes. I'm so glad it's helped other people too. Thanks, I'll try. I'm friendless, single and waiting on STD results, which doesn't feel fantastic. You get to start 2021 with a nice fresh and clean slate with less drama and garbage in your life. I know it probably doesn't feel like it right now, but I 100% guarantee you that this is actually a great blessing in disguise. Well, hopefully a clean slate. That's the first proper laugh I've had since this happened. Thank you. I hope all is clear for you. He's a dirty rat. You don't deserve to start off the next year with a sickness. Rude. I mean, I laughed. But still. Yeah. I started this year with an STD, that almost everyone gets at some point, from a past relationship. In hindsight, that should have signaled the rest of my year. Laughing out loud. HPV? That stuff is no fun, personal experience, but hopefully it'll clear on its own like most forms of it. Good luck. I currently have HPV. I like to refer to it as a sex flu. It's incredibly contagious and annoying with no real treatment, usually mild or no symptoms, and relatively harmless with a vaccine for the more dangerous ones. The big difference, and why it's annoying, is it hangs around for years. Otherwise, it's just a sex flu 80 to 90% of sexually active people get. This whole thread made me feel so much better. Wish I'd seen people have this same conversation a year or two ago. Just had my first clear pap in 2 years right after a guy decided he didn't want to date me and going to get STD tested after kissing me because I had HPV. Better off without him, but damn, that didn't feel good. Thank you all for being so open about this. I know it's common, but it feels it when people actually openly discuss it. It's taken a lot of research and self-love to not think poorly of myself, and it's still very embarrassing having to disclose it to new hookups. But after lots of research, I realized it truly isn't a big deal. I'm coming up on the 2-year mark for me and am hoping for a clean pap. Dude is definitely an ass thou. Especially since men are usually how it spreads since they're often asymptotic and it's actually not within common STD checks. He was just as likely to have it already and not know it. Yup, HPV, thanks. Yeah, try not to feel bad. HPV is so common that most providers won't test for it and only test for certain strains when doing a pap smear. The only way to for sure not get HPV is to only have sex with one person who only has had sex with you. Asked to get tested. I'm 51 with the same partner, and hadn't been tested in 10 years for HPV, having always tested negative before this. Apparently I had a dormant strain, and when they typed it they were shocked because it is the worst one. It went from a few squamous cells to full-blown cervical cancer in a matter of weeks. I do have to say, this was not the June to have a 5.5-hour hysterectomy in NYC. It's a blessing not to be with a guy who tries to make a point of why she should be excluded by gesturing at her genitals. Ew. TBH, if I was her I'd have left the room, stuffed something in my pants to make an obvious bulge, come back and announce the problem was fixed. Judging by this post, that's the least gross thing he's done. It was that part of the story where I decided there was no way he was a good guy. Cheating aside, this alone is a huge red flag, and I'd think long and hard about any other red flags from him and what kind of person would be like this. I would never dream at pointing at someone's crotch and saying that's the problem. If there's any old habits you had in your past friend relationships, I definitely recommend reviewing what you like and don't like about your interactions with others on an individual level. Reevaluate what you seek in people, and what you want to avoid, as well as evaluate yourself the same. Speaking from past experience, and current. I am starting out relatively fresh without any but one close friend. Starting from scratch gives you the opportunity to be a better version of yourself and attract better people who care about you for you. Keep fighting up. For what it's worth, I started the best time of my life by cutting out friends I realized were bad for me. Good luck op, F this crap year in the nostrils and move on. Seems like a great opportunity to try and create a closer relationship with the ex-girlfriends. Nothing bonds people like a common enemy info. Is there a specific reason why you girls were never close? Since all the girlfriends were seemingly upset with their boys' night, why didn't you use that chance to have a girls' night? The guys probably purposely kept the girls at a distance from each other. Women talk and they were scared that this type of thing was going to happen. I mean, that's exactly what happened. The girls got together and were able to put it together real quick. Yup. I also have theories as to why the girls took so long to communicate, but they're only theories. Well, now I'm curious, oh ancient one. They knew, just didn't want to actually admit it. A lot of people have been there, and it's a really crappy situation. The entity has spoken. He is too powerful. He's too dangerous to be left alive. They probably don't have much in common besides their cheating boyfriends, or now ex-boyfriends. That's nothing to base a relationship on, honestly. I don't know, man. You usually start with one common thing and find out other stuff. I'm not saying it'll definitely work out, but it's worth a shot. Women becoming friends because their boyfriends or husbands are friends is forced by circumstances rather than organically developed. I would not expect to become buddies with anyone married to someone my spouse is friends with. It usually doesn't work out that way for me. To be honest, they just weren't my type of people. They're lovely girls, but our personalities and interests just never clicked. It also could be because we kept each other at arm's length, like another comment suggested. I'd say you should get together with them, and sacrifice a bull to the gods for the ruination of your ex-boyfriends and their families. I mean, let's be honest, they really are essentially an unofficial coven at this point, so at the very least some sage, a bonfire, and some hot cocoa under the next full moon is only appropriate. Based on your comments, it sounds like you all being kept at arm's length was no accident. Look how you all came together in figuring this out. You should at least all go for drinks to celebrate getting those buttholes out of your lives. This is the sort of traumatic experience that could help forge some good friendships or at least a decent support group. How about a drunken girls' night out? Put your differences to one side, go out, get drunk, have a good old rant together, bond and have fun. I can't tell you how many girls I've bonded with for those reasons. You then all have a link and could potentially have a great friend group. Look, you dodged a bullet. Better to know now than later when you're married or have kids or something. You really did dodge a bullet. I have a mixed friend group too, and no one ever gets excluded based on what's in their pants. I might have one-to-one hangouts with a friend, but we don't routinely cut out half the group because they're men. Rolling eyes face. Frankly, that's juvenile behavior, and I know it hurts now, but you'll find someone mature who doesn't cheat on you and be so much happier. I totally agree with this. I think we as a society should have gotten past boys' night and girls' night, especially where one has to actively exclude members of the friend group. Absolutely agreed. Even my bachelorette party was mixed gender and my husband came along too, because all of our friends are mutual by this stage. It wasn't any kind of keeping an eye on each other thing, it was just we didn't expect people to go to two different parties when the same guests would be invited to each one, so it made more sense to combine it. Again, I might hang out with my best friend one-to-one once in a while, or he might go to a film with his best friend, but it's not a regularly scheduled thing, and even then we often end up meeting up later in the evening. And sometimes I'll do something like, I went with one of our dude friends to a metal show in Edinburgh that he really wanted to go to, and I'm the only one who was free and enjoys metal, so we went together. Or my husband and my best friend went to see a film once that I wasn't interested in but they both really wanted to see, and I met up with them for drinks after doing my own thing for the afternoon. When we had to finalize our reception venue, my husband had to work, so his best friend came with me instead to sub in with my husband's preferences and such, and then we went to lunch. This is all just extremely normal to me, and how it should be amongst friends. I don't know, it's just so weird to me to categorize and cut people out from stuff based on gender, or if they're part of a couple, or whatever. I started hosting a ladies' movie night as a way to see a friend without her emotionally abusive Trump-supporting husband, but I think that's pretty much the only excuse for gender exclusion to provide a safe space. These sorts of guys' nights and girls' nights are bullcrap. Absolutely, that's the kind of thing where you're claiming ladies' night for a safe space away from a dangerous situation. Totally different circumstances, and thank you for helping your friend. Oh, I absolutely agree. I think it's fine to have get-togethers that are exclusive to gender, but not if you are purposefully excluding a friend who wants to hang out too with their friends. That's just bullying in my opinion. Your case is totally different and completely fine. Your ex-boyfriend and his friends are crappy birds flocking together. Not even going to talk about the morals of that one guy who didn't cheat because he's guilty by association and didn't do the right thing. I don't know if anything changed between you and the girls who the boys cheated on. Sometimes women bond and have great friendships when something this crappy happened to them, especially with a cheating pact. Honestly, I've heard of pregnancy pacts, but cheating? Wow, that's a new low for cheaters. It's better finding out now than to find out years down the line that your boyfriend was cheating and continued to cheat. You've wasted enough time with him already, don't let his stupidity plague your mind. Chin up and walk forth. Show him you can do much better than him. I hope the cheater's parents find out how horrible their child had turned out. Must be a disappointing Christmas family gathering later. Hopefully you get a clean bill of health and get wrapped in happiness soon like a burrito. Edit. Spelling. The worst part is they're not even his friends, they were ops friends first. Crapbirds Randy, crapbirds. NTA, I'm so sorry. I remember this post, and how negative some people seem to get towards you for being a bit frustrated that your boyfriend was excluding you from nights out with your friends group. I'm sorry it turned out to be even creepier than you thought, but the silver lining is this butthole is out of your life forever and you won't spend your life with him second-guessing yourself and wondering if you are going crazy for being suspicious. Good for you for trusting your instincts and not letting him act as if you were the crazy butthole. So you've lost crafty friends. You will find new better ones. Most people aren't as terrible as them. These are such crafty guys, all of them. Some comments are saying that maybe she can stay friends with the original guy friends, but seriously? Even the guy who didn't technically cheat, whatever, what a gem, is still a crafty person for supposedly being her friend and watching all this unfold. How could they sit there and look her in the eye? They didn't give a crap. They all betrayed her. That's not a friend. The amount of disrespect towards her, to get to the level of literally a fortnightly cheating night, is just astronomical and, in my opinion, unforgivable. Some comments are saying that maybe she can stay friends with the original guy friends, but seriously? They also clearly valued her boyfriend's friendship over hers, and I'd be shocked if the guy half of the group didn't stay together after this. Why would she want to remain friends with any of them? Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.